My friend, use what you have instead of complaining about what you don't. Resourcefulness is the key. Resourcefulness is understanding that you can start with the dollar and begin the investment process. You can start with a phone and a video, just like I'm doing right now, because in that process where we allow ourselves to be resourceful, we are showing ourselves that we are going to get to it by any means necessary, that nothing is going to stop and nothing is going to hinder and nothing is going to slow down the process or the progress that you are currently on. Understand that when we are in this process of resourcefulness, it means a lot more to our character development than anything, because resourcefulness builds confidence and resourcefulness builds a certain level of trust that you have within yourself. There was a bar by Rick Ross back in the day, and he said, "You wasn't with me when we was shooting in the gym." Now, a lot of times we attribute that to people not being around us when we are on the come up, right? I know you've been there where you have made a change in your life, or maybe you're not there just yet. Maybe that is beginning to take place now. But I say that to say, are you with yourself while you're shooting in the gym? Are you truly giving everything your all? Are you saying, I don't have this, and I don't have that, so I cannot start today? Or are you saying, I'm going to make it work, and I'm going to figure it out, and I'm going to see exactly how I can make this happen, how I can make something out of nothing? So even thinking about it, right, my investment journey that I began on started off, coincidentally enough, with crypto. I believe I caught it in, I want to say, the summer of 23. I had a really good friend of mine. He was actually my supervisor at the time, and he started talking to me about XRP. And I was like, I don't know anything about cryptocurrency, but the one thing that caught my attention was the fact that he was investing and he was making money. So I was like, all right, let me learn a little bit about this. At that time, I was paying off my debt snowball from Dave Ramsey, and I was paying off my credit cards. I was paying off my car. And I did not really have a whole bunch of money to just play with. But I made the decision. I said, at the end of the day, I'm either going to get into this right now or I never will. So a lot of times investing sounds scary to somebody who does not know anything about investing, because typically when you think investing, you think Fortune 500 companies, you think about Mark Zuckerberg, you think about Elon Musk, you think about Donald Trump. You think to yourself, man, wealth is so far away from me that it's not even possible for me to start with the little. But I ended up investing little by little. Then that portfolio ended up going, it 2x'd actually, and then it 3x'd. And I said to myself, you know what? Let me pull 1,000 out. And I have a really close friend of mine. She actually works for a brokerage licensor, or a licensed brokerage, you know what I mean. He is a broker, a financial broker, and I sat down with him and I was like, I got $1,000. What can we do with it? But that $1,000 did not just start with $1,000 and it just landed in my lap. That $1,000 started with $1. That $1,000 started with $100. That $1,000 started with $200. And the extra money that I had, the excess money that I had, whether it was during the week, whether it was at the end of 2 weeks or even at the end of 2 months, I was throwing at this stock. I was throwing at this cryptocurrency, rather, I'm sorry. And I was making a return. But I started with the little. And I turned it into the much. And right now, I'm not going to sit up here and lie to you and say that I'm balling. Right now, I'm not going to sit up here and lie to you and say that I'm a millionaire. I'm not yet. I want to be there one day. But as of right now, I am content. I'm content because I know that I'm doing everything that I can with everything that I have. And I understand that right now I'm currently on my way to my 8 to 3. And after I leave my 8 to 3, I'm going to clock into my 4 to 8. Well, really my 3 to 7. But I just say all that to say I'm recording this video on a phone. Years from now, I'm going to look back at this and I'm going to say, wow, Z, you were resourceful. just because you didn't have the production equipment, just because you didn't have the fancy camera, just because you didn't have the boom mics, just because you didn't have a producer behind the camera, that did not stop you from getting the message out. Because at the end of the day, the most important part of you being resourceful is, why are you being resourceful? What message are you trying to get out? What are you trying to propagate? What are you trying to bring to the world? I'm not going to lie and say that it's easy, because it's not. But what it is determination. What it is a mindset that strategizes. And what it is just analyzing and seeing, I have X, I have Y, I have Z. So let's make something out of nothing. So I hope that this is some encouragement to you as you kick off your day, as you continue your day, or even as you end your day. I know that I'm actually about to clock in. So I appreciate you guys for listening. I hope that you received some sort of value from this video. And if you did, I kindly ask you leave a like, you leave a comment, let's conversate, and that you subscribe, because you haven't seen anything yet. Resourcefulness is not just the topic of this video. Resourcefulness is the direction from here on out. Work with what you got until you can have what you want. All right, y'all, get to work.